in the chat room that Richard Roundtree passed, man.
I was just about to say that, man. Richard Roundtree, Shaft, dude.
Man, that dude been the dude since the 70s, man.
You know, what do you remember about Richard Roundtree?
Had everybody buying leather jackets and leather pants. That's for damn sure. Shit. He had Negroes talking big shit to the police, and he had everybody thinking they was the shit. Shaft was a bad mother, man. Shut your mouth. That's real talk, Doc. In the 70s, the first Shaft, come on, man. When he was slim and trim, even the Shaft he played in with Samuel Jackson, he was cool. Remember that gray beard? Chocolate brother with a gray beard? Come on, man. He's cool as a fan back then. Man, much love to him. Much love. Rest in peace, Shaft, man. I never met the brother myself, but he came from an era when black folks were trying to stand up for themselves. It was doing the black he was black. He was the first black superhero that I can recall. He was the first black superhero from the hood, kicking ass, taking it to the man, getting all the girls, a detective, putting it down, man. He was that dude. He kind of lost me when he went to Africa, but other than that, when he was in the hood, I was having he was working things.
What happened when he went to Africa?
He had a movie called Shaft in Africa. I didn't do that great. He had Shaft. No, as long as Shaft was in the hood kicking ass, I think he was from New York kicking ass. It was all good. When he started fucking with tigers and lions and bears, it kind of lost everybody. Yep.
Damn, man, that's Hollywood for you. They'll milk something until they can get every last penny out of you, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're gonna do their best to take it to the next level until they ruin it. Till they ruin it. I was talking to Play last week in Sacramento. We talked about the rebooting of House Party. Y'all should left that alone, man. Y'all should left that alone. If y'all wasn't gonna bring back Kid and Play in some role for that, and that's one thing about with Shaft. They brought back Richard Roundtree, introduced his son, which was Samuel L. Jackson, but also brought in a grandson. So that legacy can continue because people are going to recognize, because at some point in time, Shaft is going to be gone from the legacy. Samuel L. Jackson will still be there. And the new kid that was doing the drunken monkey whooping ass, the FBI agent, he can take their ball and run with it. But you just can't throw a bunch of new players in the thing and expect for it to have the same impact. It ain't going to work. There's no bridging. There's nobody to bring you to keep you those references to bring you over to the next level. You just did House Party. Didn't want to pay Kid and Play.
Yep, that's it. Something that was real big with Richard Roundtree, and I knew the music before I even knew who Richard Roundtree was, before I even saw a minute of Shaft. I remember the Shut Your Mouth, but tell us about Isaac Hayes and his importance of creating this musical sound.
Isaac Hayes, Black Moses. Come on, man. Isaac Hayes was the king of the 70s, dude. He gave Baldhead Brothers something to look forward to. He was on Rockford Files, kicking ass on the Rockford Files. He was that dude, man. And in the studio, he was awesome, man. He had the his orchestra wasn't as big, to my knowledge, wasn't as big as Barry White's, but he had an orchestra sound. That shit was huge, man. He had a lot of live instrumentation, a lot of strings, a lot of horns, and him and Barry White would battle for the deep voices. They had the production and the deep voices. But that was a whole other thing, man. That was a hell of an era, dude. You could tell the music was different, but you can tell it was from the same era, and that's what people appreciated. Even then, there was competition, but they would not bite. They would do some similar shit, but they would be on another level. And Isaac Hayes, he was more of a street dude. Barry White was like from the symphony, the symphony of the streets, put it that way. Isaac Hayes was more of the street cat, the street producer, big production, but his subject matter was a lot different than Barry White's to a certain degree. and Barry. You know, it just was a man, dude. The 70s, come on, man. In the 70s and the 80s, everybody was a big band. Even Cameo, Confunction, Sky, Cameo, Confunction, Sky, Brass Construction, and damn it, was one more group I thought of the other day. I couldn't think of it now. It was something blue, I think it was. Anyway, everybody was self-contained. Every band brought the horn section along. Most of them didn't bring strings, but you can't.
Blue Oyster
it was
Cult?
another group. It was I want to say Sky, but I heard the song after we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I heard the song on my Sirius radio shortly after. That made me think about it. Like, damn, they was funky too. But yeah, there was a lot of different groups back then that had a BT Express. BT Express, that's what it was. BT Express. It was BT Express, Confunction, BT Express, Sky, Confunction, Cameo. All these guys were they were huge bands from the 70s that were all self-contained, and they had their own, you know, everybody rolled with them. It was a different era, dude. It was Cameo broke down later on to just the 4 or 5 guys and just started hiring this horn section. But the horn section of Confunction was a major part of their sound. Same thing with Tower of Power. The horn section, same thing with Average White Band and Average White Band, Tower of Power, and Confunction. They had some of the baddest horn section, and that was the sound of the 70s and 80s. The Memphis horns, oh my God. And George Clinton's horny horns, come on, man. Shit. All that shit was all in that era, and you had to have arrangers to make the music, and they did a great job. And they would always try to outcomplicate each other, man. That shit was so damn complicated. The average cat probably can't play it right now unless you got some real serious chops.
Damn. You know, I want to rewind a little bit because you mentioned something in the past. You mentioned you listened to certain music back in the day before, like the 70s, maybe late 60s, but you mentioned that you wanted to be a hippie.
Hell yeah.
For a quick second. I'm trying to picture. So when I picture a hippie, I picture the stereotypical peace man, the long hair, the dirty, you know, what a typical hippie would be. Is that what Lonzo wanted to be at one point?
Lonzo ain't never wanted to be dirty. Dirty never been one of my things, okay? Being dusty and dirty ain't never been one of my things. But in that era, man, the peace movement was so mellow. It was anti-establishment.